Meanwhile, somewhere in the Triverse on the other side of the portal, the Mirrorverse, we delve into Part 2 and the conclusion of the Antarctic base. In the mysterious and labyrinthine corridors of the alien base, laden with the echoes of its dark history, Captain Blaze and his crew reached a massive room crucial to the reactor's operation. The scene was both breathtaking and horrifying. The technology was astonishing, a structure of intricate designs pulsating with energy, casting a surreal glow throughout the space. Yet it was the guardians of the chamber that evoked a stunned reaction from the team. These guardians were once human, now transformed into something beyond recognition, no longer human, but not quite mechanoid yet. Their bodies were grotesquely fused with wires and pipes, their flesh interwoven into the base's living network of circuits. They stood as tragic sentinels, trapped in a ceaseless agony. Zen spoke softly, her voice reflecting the shock and revulsion they all felt. This is beyond inhumane. It's as if they've been consumed by the base, made into part of its defenses. As the transformed humans detected the presence of the team, they began to awaken, their movements strained and eerie as they disconnected from the machines. What ensued was a fierce onslaught, the transformed humans charging with a brutality that contrasted starkly with their harrowing appearances. Caught between his duty to protect and his compassion, Captain Blaze issued urgent commands, focusing on minimizing harm. Use non-lethal force, aim for the cables. We need to disable them, not destroy them. Before the tension in his words could dissipate, a Marine was impaled by a cable, eliciting a scream of excruciating pain, the likes of which they had never heard. The sergeant, drawing on his depth of training and experience, quickly organized a strategic withdrawal. He rallied the Marines, guiding them to defend themselves effectively while avoiding lethal measures. "Keep it tight. Watch each other's backs," he yelled, emphasizing teamwork and vigilance in the chaotic retreat. In the thick of a harrowing battle, chaos swirling around him, the youngest Marine summoned a strength he never knew he possessed. "We're not leaving anyone behind," he shouted, his voice cutting through the cacophony of gunfire and electrical bursts as he pulled his injured comrade to safety. Meanwhile, Zen, her focus intense, worked tirelessly at a console. Amidst the eerie wails of the reactor's defenders, she sought a way to disable them without inflicting more pain, her expression a mask of deep concentration. Blaze, a steadfast beacon of leadership amidst the turmoil, stood next to her. His commands, both clear and inspiring, resonated above the din as he led and supported his team. "Zen, status?" Blaze called out, his voice firm as he fired a shot at an approaching protector. "Almost there," Zen responded, her concentration ironclad amidst the chaos. Seconds later, her voice broke through again, vibrant with success. "Got it. I've sent a command to release them from the base's control." As Zen's triumphant words filled the chamber, the protectors' actions started to falter, their movements becoming sluggish and uncoordinated. One by one, they fell, their eyes dimming, yet reflecting a trace of peace that had been missing before. Gathered around Zen, the team shared a moment of profound relief, visibly worn but united. Blaze looked over the chamber, his gaze heavy with the toll of their ordeal. "We came here to find a solution, not to fight those who've suffered enough. Let's finish what we came for and ensure their sacrifices weren't in vain," he said, his voice imbued with resolve and compassion. Together, they focused on the reactor, humanity's beacon of hope, and the very reason for their perilous mission inside the Antarctic base. At that moment, one of their own, the Marine previously injured by one of the cables, began a horrifying transformation. Unseen nanobots had infiltrated his bloodstream during the skirmish, turning him against those he once stood alongside. Blaze watched in dismay as the Marine's veins turned ominously dark, his eyes shimmering with an eerie, unnatural glow. The bond and brotherhood they had forged through countless battles were dissolving, overtaken by a chilling alien malevolence. "Stand down, Marine," Blaze commanded, his voice resolute yet tinged with desperation, trying to reach the dwindling humanity within his comrade. Yet, the infected Marine only responded with a menacing snarl, his humanity fading as the mechanoids asserted their control. Zen's voice was a faint whisper, her face drained of color. "There's no reversing it. Once the nanobots fully integrate, They overwrite the host's neural pathways. He's not him anymore. He had become indistinguishable from the threats they were just fighting against. The sergeant, his weapon poised, yet his hands shaking, turned to Blaze, his eyes searching for direction. "Captain, what are we going to do?" Blaze's thoughts darted frantically for any alternative that might spare his team from making an irreversible decision. Yet the grim reality settled in. The infected Marine posed too great a risk to the team, the mission, and potentially to humanity itself. The nanobot's threat of spreading was a risk too formidable. With a heavy heart, Blaze resolved himself to the only course left. His voice laden with grief, he declared, "We have to do it. It's what he would have wanted, to protect the mission, to protect Earth." The confrontation was brief, yet intense. The infected Marine, his strength and speed unnaturally enhanced by the mechanoids, fought with a ferocity that bordered on superhuman. Despite this, the team's rigorous training and their unyielding will eventually overcame him. With a final respectful salute, Blaze ended the soldier with his sidearm, compassionately ended his suffering. Afterward, Blaze gathered his team, his eyes somber with the gravity of their loss. "He was one of us, a warrior, a friend. We'll carry his memory, and we'll complete this mission in his honor," he solemnly told them. Zen, her eyes lingering on where the fallen Marine lay, gave a small nod. "Let's make sure this was not in vain." The sergeant, the steadfast rock of the team, added his voice to the chorus. "He died a hero. We'll make sure the world knows it." This ordeal had deeply tested each of them, but it also solidified their resolve, bonding them closer through their shared sorrow. As they left the chamber, leaving behind the echo of their comrade, they moved forward with a renewed determination, their unity fortified by the ordeal they had endured together. As they delved deeper into the heart of the alien base, the shadows of their recent ordeal cast a long yet motivating pall over the team. Their recent loss was a poignant reminder of the stakes at play, binding them with a shared purpose as they faced the uncharted dangers ahead. Their journey was punctuated by numerous challenges, each testing not only their physical prowess, but also the core of their determination. In a critical moment while navigating a treacherous section of the base, a vast cavern, the ground unexpectedly gave way beneath them. The sudden collapse caught the team off guard, but the sergeant's quick reflexes proved crucial. He managed to grasp onto a protruding ledge, his other hand outstretched to the youngest Marine who was teetering on the edge of the newly formed abyss. "Got you! Don't let go!" the sergeant bellowed, his voice booming over the echoing chasm as his muscles tensed, holding fast against the weight of his teammate. The urgency and resolve in his shout underscored the perilous situation, yet also the unwavering support among the team members. Blaze, always quick to act, anchored himself firmly and reached out to assist in the rescue. Zen, despite her smaller stature, lent all her strength to the effort. Together, they pulled with concerted effort, gradually inching the young Marine back from the precipice of the abyss. However, their sighs of relief were abruptly cut short. From the shadows below, dark cables shot upward, snaking around the sergeant's leg with a force that seemed beyond natural. Faced with this new threat, the sergeant made a swift, selfless decision. "Let me go. Save yourselves," he commanded, his voice echoing through the cavern, resolute and leaving no room for debate. Blaze locked eyes with the sergeant, a silent communication of respect and pain passing between them. With a heart heavy with impending loss, Blaze gave a barely perceptible nod, acknowledging the grim necessity of the sergeant's sacrifice, yet inwardly reeling from the harsh toll it demanded. As the sergeant was dragged into the abyss, his final act was one of defiant courage. He pulled the pin on a grenade, releasing it among the encroaching tendrils. The resulting explosion echoed through the cavern, granting his team the crucial moments needed to escape the danger. In the eerie quiet that followed, the team regrouped, their faces etched with the weight of what had occurred. The sergeant's sacrifice had indeed saved them, but it was a costly victory, leaving an indelible void within their ranks and their hearts. Blaze, the ever-resolute captain, took a moment to steady himself before addressing his team. He knew the risks, as do we all. "We won't forget what he did," he said, his voice firm yet thick with emotion. Zen, her eyes glistening with unshed tears, nodded solemnly. The youngest Marine, the direct beneficiary of the sergeant's final act, remained silent, the magnitude of the sacrifice weighing heavily upon him. It was a burden he would now carry forward, a poignant reminder of the steep price of their mission and the cost of their survival. Pushing forward with a renewed sense of purpose, Blaze led his team deeper into the alien base. The loss of the sergeant had sharpened the stakes of their mission, reinforcing the critical importance of what they were fighting to achieve. They finally reached the heart of the alien base, where the reactor core, pulsating like a captured star, marked the culmination of their harrowing journey. Standing before it, Blaze and Zen realized their partnership was crucial now more than ever. The sublime technology of the reactor was tantalizingly within reach. "Zen, you're on tech," Blaze commanded, his eyes intently fixed on the glowing core. "I'll cover you. Let's make this quick." Zen nodded, and her hands began to move swiftly over the alien console, expertly interpreting its complex symbols. As she worked, the base around them started to shudder, a deep, ominous rumbling that suggested something was awakening. Suddenly, a cold synthetic voice echoed through the chamber, likely signaling the initiation of a self-destruct sequence. "We've got company!" the youngest Marine called out urgently, his weapon aimed at the entrance as mechanoids entered into the chamber. Blaze quickly positioned himself between Zen and the imminent threat, firing in controlled bursts to hold off the attackers. "Zen, how much time?" he shouted over the din of battle. "Working on it," Zen replied, her voice steady despite the intensity of the situation. She remained focused, her hands moving over the console as the air thrummed with the energy of the reactor and the sounds of gunfire. The battle intensified, with the mechanoids attacking relentlessly. Blaze and the remaining Marines executed their maneuvers with a precision that belied the desperation of their circumstances, each movement calculated and critical. Amid the chaos, Zen's voice finally cut through, triumphant yet strained from the effort. "Got it! Core's disengaged." Blaze spared a moment to glance at the core, now disconnected and dimming, though still radiating a faint but potent glow. "Time to leave," he called out, urgency clear in his voice. Their escape turned into a maelstrom of firefights and narrow evasions. Bullets flew and explosions echoed as they navigated the perilous terrain of the alien base in reverse, but this time the base had awoken from its ancient slumber. "Keep moving," Blaze commanded, his voice a beacon of resolve amidst the chaos. "We're almost out." As they neared the exit, the ground beneath them suddenly gave way, opening into a vast chasm. Blaze, always at the forefront, reacted instantly, leaping across the gap with Zen close on his heels. The youngest Marine, his energy waning but spirit still fierce, was the last to attempt the jump, his effort falling just short. Without a moment's hesitation, Blaze reached out, his grip firm and unyielding. "Not losing anyone else today," he grunted, pulling the Marine to safety. As they retreated, the chasm widened behind them, swallowing the remnants of the pursuing mechanoids in a dramatic collapse. Whether it was sheer luck or perhaps some unseen assistance from their fallen comrades on the hollow moon, it was a moment of miraculous escape they would never fully understand. As the base's self-destruct sequence reached its climax, the team emerged into the stark Antarctic daylight, the ground trembling ominously beneath their feet. They turned just in time to witness the entrance collapse, a dramatic plume of snow and debris marking the tomb of the alien stronghold. Exhausted, their bodies pushed to their very limits, Blaze, Zen, and the surviving Marines collapsed into the snow, relief washing over them. Nearby, the reactor core lay partially buried in the frost, its light dimming yet persistently glowing. "We did it," Zen breathed out, her voice a mix of relief and disbelief. "Yes," Blaze replied, his gaze fixed on the distant horizon. "But this is just the beginning. The core is the key to our future, but the knowledge of what lies out there, of what we've faced, that's a burden we'll carry." His words echoed a sobering truth, acknowledging the weight of their experiences and the challenges that still lay ahead. They had triumphed over the Antarctic base, emerging victorious but deeply aware that their journey was far from over. The reactor core they now possessed promised a new dawn for humanity, yet the weight of the sacrifices made to secure it cast long shadows, a solemn reminder of the cost of their triumph. As they made their way back to the Aurora, Zen, glancing back at the collapsing base, felt a stirring mix of triumph and melancholy. We've opened Pandora's box, haven't we? There's no going back now. Blaze responded with a nod, determination lighting his eyes. We move forward. Together. We faced the darkness and emerged into the light. Whatever comes next, we'll face it, just as we did today. Boarding the Aurora, with the reactor core secured within its hold, Blaze, Zen, and the Marines took one last look at the Antarctic wilderness, the silent witness to their ordeal. The journey back to civilization would be long, but they carried with them not just the hope for a new dawn, but also the resolve to face whatever challenges lay ahead. But those challenges will be Triverse stories for another time. If you've stuck with me up to this point, a heartfelt thank you. I'd also like to take a moment to remind you that my entire channel is dedicated to the Triverse and its enthralling Mechron mechanoid saga, while many of the stories stand alone, allowing you to dive in at any point. Crafting these narratives takes about 4 or 5 days each, so your patience is greatly appreciated. If you find yourself enjoying what you see, consider exploring more of my videos. Each one, in its own unique way, weaves together more of the overarching story I'm telling.